Hi, and welcome again to this week's stream. We had some issues with switching on the mics this time around. In case you missed it, I am here today with my friend and colleague for over 10 years. And hopefully there'll be another game that she will see released with her name in the credits. Now, today I've got some announcements to make before I jump into the latest build of the game. The announcements are as follows. We think we're just a few weeks from releasing the game to the owners of limited early access. We have debated briefly this week whether or not we can just give it access, launch it there. We decided against that, as the game is not, like, the core loop is not yet fleshed out. So if we say, hey guys, come and check it out, maybe you will not really appreciate it, and you will say, hey, you should have waited for a couple more weeks. So we want to save everyone some confusion, and we will still keep working for a couple more weeks until we make it available on Steam. And a few words about what we've changed in the build that you'll see shortly. We have reworked the system of the biomes. It's been bothering us for a long time that there is no predictability in whether or not certain biomes are more dangerous than the others. We solved this. There was the issue with having too many alchemic properties. Really too many, like way overkilling, like 50 something. We reworked that. We now have a very lean system that's easy to understand. We've reworked all the resources that you need to forage and then craft. Again, we simplified things so you kind of understand where is what, and got rid of a bunch of random placement of random issues. The biggest decision, I think, of them all, and we also reworked the map generation that you'll see and the character generation that you'll see. The biggest change that we've made is a strategic decision. Instead of building just one sandboxy, sort of almost endless campaign that goes on and on and on, we finally agreed to go back to the system where we have campaign or chapters. So Spire of Sorcery is a story that we tell through, let's say, 5 chapters, maybe 3, maybe 5, we don't know yet. And the version we'll launch will be chapter 1, and then we'll add chapter 2, and then chapter 3, and then once we are done, we're going to move to full release. So the game will consist of a few chapters that you play one after another. What this allows us is it allows us to better balance each chapter. We know that we've got, let's say, 20 creatures in this chapter, so we balance them. And we know that there's, 50 items that you can craft and use, and we can balance them. And we know that it generally takes you about, this many hours to play through, so we can balance that. As opposed to trying to balance something which just sort of diverges into any kind of thing, and then eventually we end up with some players that are finishing the game too fast and some players that are finishing the game too slow. So we also got rid of time pressing in the first chapter. We no longer see any need in this. We don't want to artificially push players to do something. It's your chapter, you play it as you like. There's a high score at the end. If you want the higher score, you complete it faster, but that's about it. We don't want to artificially push anyone into any specific decision. And then there's suddenly we discovered that there's a whole bunch of different mechanics which we couldn't really put into the game when it was one big endless thing, but we finally find a place for those things in the campaign mode. Eventually you'll have a chapter in a distorted lens. Eventually we'll have a chapter in the Empire. It's impossible for us to balance Empire and the distorted lands all together with like hundreds of parties moving around, blah blah blah. Kind of a single player multiplayer game. But it's quite possible for us to give you a concentrated taste of the Wildlands, and then the Distorted Lands, and then the Empire, and then this and that. So that's the biggest decision we've made, and that makes it so much easier for us to craft those chapters one after another. Now let's jump into the game, and I'll show you what's going on with this week's build. So first of all, Well, we got a bit of a early introduction for what the goal of the first chapter will be. The goal of the first chapter, which I just clicked through because it was a bit messy, is to find and bring back to the Spire 3 pieces of the navigation instrument that will allow you to move your Spire closer to the distorted lands. That's the goal of the campaign. Once you've done it, that's finished, you're on to the next chapter. At the start of the game, you can choose 4 characters, 4 disciple characters that you will play with. You can reroll them as you like, and then choose the ones that you want to keep. An important update to the character generation system is that their clothing now reflects their highest skill. So look at this lady. Her highest skill is magic, which is why she's dressed like this. The same for this lady here, green haired. She's 3 in destruction magic, so that's why she's wearing a destruction magic outfit. Here, she is the strongest in distortion magic, which is why she's dressed like a mage in the distortion clothing. Here she is dressed in a hunter's outfit, so I think she's the strongest in monstrology. You can see here that this skill is a 2, which is the highest among the others. We just don't see experience here. Same for this lady. Let's see some other examples. So this outfit with the hat means that someone is good in herbology. That's their best skill, basically. Here is the creation magic. So she's the strongest there. And I think this means... pretty sure this is supposed to mean not travel, but communication. I'm not sure what this is. Let me see. Let me see if I can have some clear example. So here's combat. That's pretty obvious. He's 3 at combat. That's above everything else. So that's the combat outfit. And here I think that's probably Guile. No, this is Guile. Yep, this is Guile. So here he's 3, and I guess this is communication. Probably no. Here we only have the choice between geology and Guile, so he must be a geologist dressed like this. Anyway, what is meant, this is the first step that when you look at the character, you know that this character is strongest in this. The next step we'll take is changing the background to show you the overall level of that character. So let's choose a party. I choose this guy dressed in the traveler's clothing set because his travel is 3. I choose him because he's 3 in Guile. I choose her. Nah, maybe not really. Well, they're not very strong. So we will have in the future the opportunity to just roll 1 character, probably. I'm not so sure about this. I mean, it could lead to some imbalance as you roll and roll and roll until you get the right person, but maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is how we should let you play. So let me take these 2 guys, and here we go. The starting point of the game has moved to the regular forest. This happened because we've restructured the 6 major biomes that we have in the game, which is wetlands, swamps, hills, plains, ancient forest, and the regular forest. They are graded from safest to the most dangerous, and the regular forest is one of the 2 safest, as well as wetlands. So let's see if I can show you the wetlands. Yep, this is the current work in progress of wetlands, which is basically the place where all the water creatures live and the water resources can be found. The lakes are gone, the rivers are gone, probably until some other chapter in the game. So the strike range is gone. If you remember, you could get struck by a creature just standing in an empty hex doing nothing. So that is gone now because we found it to be counterintuitive. Let's go and attack the snake maybe. Pa-bam! So here's the new name of the snake. It's now called Split Jaws, and we can scare away void bites, take a defensive stance, or spend some magic. And you can see this sign. It means that the success is guaranteed, that the snake will be destroyed. So let's see. I will choose him. That doesn't really get me there. I still will have 2 negative consequences open. Here's a little bit of a glitch in the UI, but that means that I'll take 3 damage points. Let's take a look at the travel options. I've got someone at the 3rd level, so he'll take 1 damage. That's already better. Let's take a look at the combat option. Oh, well, he is at the 1st level, so he'll take as well 3 damage. So now my decision is basically whether or not I want to spend 20 magic energy on this spell. Probably not, I'll save it for later. And then whether or not I want to gain experience in a particular skill. So with the same character, I can get experience in astrology or in combat. I'll just take combat, so I'll go for that. And what was abstracted by the interface is that the damage was to be dealt to a random party member. So he got the experience and she got the damage. It's not very nice. And she's now down to 52 out of 60, which seems to be a glitch because it looks like she lost 8. Or maybe she, like everyone else, started at 55 out of 60, so she wasn't really full. Okay, here are... Each biome now has its own creature, like a guardian creature. So here we've got drowners protecting the swamps. The creatures will react to you. Let me show you. I'm not sure I can show you how. Let's see. Yep, you can see that the creature spotted me and is moving in closer to me. The same is going to happen with Ural. So let's take a look at some of the other. Let's take a look at some of the other options. And I think the snake is going to chase me. Yep. So running away from the snake, I'm going to try to make my way through... Well, that didn't work well. I was trying to avoid the snake, but then you've got those locusts here, which are pretty bad for me. And here's a Panzerling. That's a new creature you haven't seen before in the game. So Panzerlings live on the plains. Let me see if I can sort of go here and... Yes, I want to harvest screamweed. How do I do that? Yep. I'm using my herbology. And I think here what it means is that the lower my skill level, the more action points I'll spend. So I will use him as he's the most advanced. I need my alchemy. I'll take this powder, which yeah, we call it power, but it should be powder. So we'll use that for gathering. I've got 5 of those, and I've lost some action points. Look at the top left screen. I'm at -5. Let me see if I can take a look at the inventory. So these are my characters. You can see that in every of those 7 skills I've got skill checks, different skill checks, and here we'll see additional benefits. This part is not fleshed out yet, so you'll see it later on. Here's my magic energy, 50 out of 50. My health, my carrying capacity, how much stuff I can carry, and my action points, which is how many action points I'm dealt with at the beginning of the turn. And this is my inventory. So I've got screamweed. Screamweed belongs to resources. Yep. And it has 1 common property. So right now we just have 6 properties in the game, 2 common, 2 uncommon, and 2 rare. That makes life much easier. You can see at the bottom of the screen, maybe not very obviously, but those 6 properties. So these are contained in these 3 items, these are in these 3 items, in this, in this, in this, and this. As you can see, every property can be extracted from a mineral or a plant or a creature. So it's up to you how you want to progress. Do you want to, progress through monstrology or something else? Well, it looks like a conflict is unavoidable. All right, so that's a pretty high skill check. It's a bit lower. Let me use the magic. So who will spend the magic? She's 2nd level, so I'm gonna take her. Still have to work a bit on this interface. Okay, so I've done that. It's pretty cool. I haven't seen the experience, so we were still like not properly done with showing you the outcomes of the event. And the bloody snake came over to bite me. I'm gonna burn the ground. I don't care. Alright, she's got 35. Well, let me use her as well. Yep. And she spent 30 because, oh, now the lockers start attacking me. So I really got into the wrong place. Alright, let me try. Well, I'm going to use him as well. And then ointment that gives me +4. So the obstacle destroyed means that the lockers will be destroyed after I pass this skill check. And I got no damage. Which is funny because there is a damage point was on the skill check after destroyed. We'll see. Anyway, so I'm stuck here. Let me just keep turn. Oh, Jesus, another snake. Well, let me do this and this. So I passed the check without any damage. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna do a Constable of Ravens using him. Alright. And the snake is still here. Why is it still here? I think it's a bug. Oh, the snake is here because I avoided the snake. I didn't kill the snake. Alright. So where do I want to go next? Let's go here. There's this. That was bad. So right now you can see that it's always snake, 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 even though there are different animals attacking me. The reason for this is that we still haven't added a bunch of resources to the game. But yeah, that was a stinktail. Stinktail moves very long distance here on the hills, and here's. I'm trying to show you, yeah, so Flutter flies a long way around, and Scavenger also moves quite a long way around. Snake is a small moving creature, like slow moving creature. So Flutter is sort of an animal that I can hunt. It doesn't attack me. And when that animal sees me, it'll try to run away. So I'll have to give chase. Let's see if I can sort of go around and jump from here to attack that. But to pass here, I'll have to resort to walking on wetlands. Because otherwise, here you can see it's stinging ivy. It's not a very nice check. Let's go here. Okay, is the snake going to attack me? It looks likely, but I'm gonna jump all the way to the ancient forest. Here are 2 crawlers, and there's a forest cat, which is not very nice. I think we haven't placed proper animals where they should be yet. Not sure, but all right. So will the cat trying to find the yeah, okay, the cat. Wow. Well, I'm gonna go back. Gonna go back here. Ah, another snake. Okay, I'm gonna kill you, snake, by using his magic. But I'm running out of magic. I need to go back home and recharge. Alright, and now I'm gonna hunt Flutter because I managed to surprise that creature. Hunt. Ta-da! You can see the new icons in work, so it'll cost me 3 action points and it will bring me items, lootable items. Who's the strongest? The strongest is probably him. And then I will use the powder. So I'm gonna hunt. Yep, I hunted Fluters and collected 3 of its wings. And now it's time to run away, I think. I'm out of action points. And yep, now there's a new event here happening. So let me just deal with it somehow. Maybe with this guy. Yep, and it's time to go back to the Spire. How do I do it? I hope the lockers don't move my way. There should be a snake somewhere around here. Yep, right here you can see the tail. Maybe I'll go from this side. And yep. All right. The fact that the lockers are attacking me on my own Spire is a bug, but other than that, that's about it. So I'm at the Spire, and here I should be recharging and doing everything else. Let's see if I can move. Yep, exchange items with the Spire. So I will move this and this. And I'm not sure if I can craft something. Yeah, that's an old thing. Yeah, okay, I ran away. Anyway, that's about it. Let's do a quick return to the studio. Okay, yeah. Let's just jump back to the studio. Okay, so you have seen the version, if you've seen the last week's stream, you've seen some changes. Things are coming together. There's probably a couple more weeks of intensive work. We're sending the first text into translation this week for Japanese, Chinese, and German, as well as French. That's always a good sign. It means that we're locking down certain areas well enough to go and have them translated, integrated into the game, and then sort of not changing that later on. So we'll see you next week. Hopefully I'll show you more events, as this is the meat of the game that we're making right now. And we'll also work on the rooms, so maybe some new rooms. See you in a week's time, and meanwhile you'll see some changes happening on the forums and on the description of the game as we try to update the description to match the current version. See you next week.